All right, before we begin, let's thank our sponsors. Without them, we couldn't do it, right? Like the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Tampa, presenting podcasts and poker. This is cool. Monday, January 27th. If you are a poker player and you want to join me and 8 others, that would be you, at a one-table sit-and-go at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Tampa. Just go to thebaileyshow.com, click on the Podcast and Poker tab there on the homepage. We have 3 cash-out prizes, first, second, and third, $1,000, $750, and $500. Everyone who wins a seat at the table will get a free room at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. And on top of that, there's a $150 bounty on me. All players will be chosen by Sunday, January 19th. The Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Tampa, one of the largest and most successful integrated resort casino complexes in North America. I've had a great relationship with them for years. I love this place. It's owned and operated by the Seminole Tribe of Florida and is home to award-winning entertainment, gaming, and dining. Plus, the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel, Tampa's 46-table non-smoking poker room features Wi-Fi throughout, and we'll have the sports fans in mind because the room offers 40 TVs, including 6 75-inch TVs and 4 65-inch TVs. The place is a blast. So, thebaileyshow.com if you're interested in podcasts and poker. On to Inspect All Pest Services. That's Nick and our friends over there, providing the highest quality termite, pest, and wildlife control. They also take care of that insulation, pressure washing, gutter maintenance, and other home services in Metro Atlanta and the surrounding areas. InspectAllServices.com. The Mad Dog, Manny Aurora, with his sidekick, Pew Pew, TheAuroraLawFirm.com. Litigates all over the United States, based out of Georgia if you want to stop in and see those smiling faces. Criminal defense, white-collar crime, DUI, drug offenses, appeals, and more. Ridgeline Counseling, Dr. David Markwell. You need help, get help by the best in the business. He's got 10 therapists in-house there at Ridgeline Counseling, 3 locations in Georgia, one across from Sprayberry High School in Sandy Plains in East Cobb, Marietta near the Square, and McKaysville outside of Blue Ridge. But he does in-person virtual sessions. Anywhere you're at, he can reach you. MarkwellTherapy.com or email him directly. RidgelineCounseling@gmail.com. FBC Insurance, now's the time, no better time, to reshop those current insurance policies. It's perfect for new homeowners. Rates are going down. That might be you. 5-star service and shop over 35 A-rated companies, whether it's insurance for your house, flood, auto, motorcycle, boat, recreational vehicle, or if it's just a personal policy. 888-308-1841 or email info@fbcinsuranceservices.com. Get a quote online, fbcinsuranceservices.com. All right, it's alternate power solutions time. You will never go without power ever again if you get a hold of Alternate Power Solutions of Georgia. Family owned and operated, offering sales, service, installation, and repair of automatic home standby and portable generators. Every single customer, that would be you. You get an upgraded warranty, free monitoring with a service contract, A+ rating with the BBB. Call or request the free home assessment, 770-853-7571. This is a must-have, must-do, must-need. PoweringGeorgia.com. Plus, get $500 off your entire installation with using the discount code Bailey, servicing Georgia and Tennessee. JHM Land Solutions, they are family-owned and operated land clearing, grading, mulching, and tree company. So if you got a bunch of stuff and you don't want to move the stuff, commercial or residential, they'll take care of it. Servicing Georgia, Alabama, and Tennessee, 770-274-9120. Jayco Contracting, the best in the business when it comes to gutter and roofing specialists. That would be Cliff Bratcher, 770-316-3876. Licensed and insured roofing and gutter specialist covering all of Georgia. Platinum preferred contractor with Owens Corning, the creator of Pink Panther. Free gutter guards, woo, with the purchase of a roof. Satisfaction guaranteed, commercial and residential. That's JaycoContracting.com. And then a live ozone therapy spa in Orlando, Florida, Altamont Springs, Florida, to be exact. AliveOzoneTherapySpa.com for all of your online ozone-infused products. If you are in the Central Florida area, please visit Central Florida's first and only ozone therapy spa, also offering red light therapy, halo therapy, chromiotherapy, pressotherapy, PEMF, and more. That is AliveOzoneTherapySpa.com. And don't forget, always use the code BS10 for an extra 10% off your orders, two peers. All right. If you want to sponsor the show, reach out to me via thebaileyshow.com. Love to have you on the podcast, maybe the radio show. Let's have a conversation. And thanks to our sponsors, Two Peers, use them. They're important. They're awesome. Let's begin.
What do we want to talk about?
To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Welcome to the Bailey Show podcast, a guy show women love to listen to.
Intellectually immature nonsense.
That's BS.
That's BS.
That's BS.
That's BS.
Okay, then, let's do it.
All right, there it is. Episode 303 of The BS. Thanks for being here. My name's Jason Bailey. Right there, that is the B-Man, Brandon Thrasher. Hello, B-Man.
Hello, I just shot myself on the chin with my mic. I don't know why it does that. I got power flowing through it, I guess.
And there is the iron-fisted one, Chuck Lunsford. Hello, Chucky.
My desk almost just caught on fire because of my MacBook charger. So
Yeah, that's crazy. That's
Solar flare.
we almost, me and Brandon have it.
Yeah, we might see L.A. happen at Chuck's house here in just there, you know. And there's Paramore Brown. Welcome, Paramore Brown.
Yes. Starving Paramore Brown.
Starving. Oh, listen to this shit. I want to get into this quickly because the Mad Dog's coming on with Pew Pew. But this guy, while we're recording, is at my house in the Golden Scissor studio, and I'm trying to be accommodating. You know, it's one of those things where you ask and you're supposed to turn it down. I'm like, you need anything? You know, if it's water or something, no problem, I'll go and get it. He drinks my drinks all the time. Not a problem. I have no problem. I'm not bitching. I'm not complaining. He goes, well, I'm a little hungry. I said, okay, well, again, I try to accommodate. Can I get you a snack or something? No, man, I got this egg drop soup I'm going to get when we're done. And it's got rotisserie chicken and stuff. I was like, all right, well, do you want a snack to hold you over? You got peanut butter and jelly?
Fair request.
I thought Rachel came up and offered you one.
No,
And then she said, would you like one too, Paramore?
Hey, look here. I'm hungry.
He's ordering off a menu.
So I asked, Rachel's got a million things that she wants to do right now. And I don't even know why I asked her. It was rude of me to even ask her this.
Wow.
And I said, and so she comes up and I said, Paramore, you got a question for her? Like, didn't think he'd really ask her. He goes, I'm hungry. Can you make me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? And my wife is such a saint. She is the sweetest woman in the world. She goes,
Yes, she is.
absolutely.
Hello.
She goes, but the big question is, how do you want it cut? And he looked at her like she was crazy.
Hello.
Well, I mean, asking that question, Paramore, she probably thought you wanted your crust removed.
No. Hello, man. Look here. I'm black. We don't cut our sandwiches. We don't trim off the edges and stuff like that. No, we used to eat the whole bread because we didn't know when the next loaf was coming. No.
But that's how sweet my wife is. She's
Hello,
like, because
she is.
there's certain sandwiches that I like cut a certain way.
Oh, geez.
Sometimes triangles, sometimes squares, sometimes in fours. And he's like, no, I just want the sandwich. you know?
Yeah.
Oh, there she is. Speaking of her, look at that. She's very accommodating. I'll tell you that. Oh, we got the PB&J uncut.
Yes.
Like a Jewish man, uncut.
It's a Jewish Peter B.
It's a Jewish PB&J.
Yes.
No.
I just found
Let me
out
get it Jewish.
He gets it cut sometimes in fours, sometimes
All right.
in halves, and sometimes at
Eat your
angles.
PB&J. I want to get into the story
That's
before
the diagonal, though.
the Mad Dog comes on, because
Okay.
this
Thank you.
this is a very
You're right.
we're gonna have fun with it, and we have had fun with it, but this is a
God,
very
this is a big-
Paramore, shut the fuck up.
Mhm.
All right, listen, this story is very serious. Like, I mean, we're gonna have fun because that's what we do. It infuriates me that Chuck has to go through this. It infuriates me that our country, our judicial system works like this. I've been through this process, so I feel an ounce of what Chuck is going through, an ounce, nowhere near 100%. And it infuriates me that his grandmother at 95 years of age has to go through this. But as most of you already know the story, Chuck's grandmother lives in upstate Detroit, Michigan.
The top.
Yeah, way top. I mean, like where the men are men and the sheep are terrified. And Chuck had purchased this house with acres of land years ago for his grandmother. She wants to leave this earth in that house. That's where her husband passed away. Chuck's grandfather, that's where she wants to live. Unfortunately, she has this asshole, punk ass bitch of a neighbor that is pushing her and the rest of the elderly people in this area out. He sues them left and right for ridiculous reasons. He finds the loopholes in the ordinances. He uses everything to his advantage. He is the scum of scum, and he can't be touched. What is happening now, and Chuck, I'm sorry, you should probably be telling this story, but I need to get ramped up for this.
Yeah.
And tell me if I'm off by any of this stuff.
You're on perfectly right now.
So he has access to this road because it has been unutilized for so many years because Chuck's grandmother doesn't go anywhere. She's 95. And so he has every right under the law to build a fence. This fence would then not allow Chuck's grandmother to get in and out of her property, to go anywhere. Ambulance couldn't even get there. And now Chuck has flown up there, and this is costing him thousands of dollars, with an attorney, gone up there, talked with the judge, gone before the court. The judge says he's got every right to do this, but I want to walk the property. So I believe here in the next couple of weeks, that's the next step of this whole thing. Chuck calls me the other day and says, look, outside of the show and what we do, I understand your feelings on this, but I really need advice. And I'm like, bro, I'm the last person you want to ask, because I will do things just out of spite, for principle. My grandmother was my rock. I have a very near and dear place in my heart for elderly people. I will fight to the death till I am broke, whether it's a smart business move or not, just for principle. You are right on all of this. Unfortunately, the law does not agree with him right now. So he has to find a loophole, a way to beat this guy, and go ahead and pick it up from there.
Yeah. So when we went to court, the first thing that myself and my attorney realized, we were like, dude, we're not in Kansas anymore. I mean, he even looked at me, he's like, where are we? Like, what is going on? Because the judge is like, yeah, she's been using the road since 1977, but it was purchased in 2016 by this guy, but he purchased it from one of your family members. Therefore, eminent domain does not apply. Therefore, he has 15 years to make his claim to that road. And if he wants to, he can do it. And that's where we were at. But he said, you know what? I want to go look at it. I want to walk it. So I left and I talked to Jason, and I was very much like, look, man, you got to take emotion out of it. And you got to use your brain and go, look, talking to my attorney, this could be a $50,000 to $75,000 cost to get this fixed. And I said, I'm not doing that. Like for this many acres in that house, I lose all my equity. I would rather take the money, have my grandma move in with me, and let her live out the rest of her days in peace and just abandon the property. So after talking to Jason and his spirited advice, I said, okay, let me see if I can find a loophole. So I'd reached out to, I sent some stuff to Pew Pew. I sent 28 pages of information.
Thank God.
Yeah. And then I texted Manny and I said, hey man, review this and let me know where I'm at, because I'm not going to spend any more money on a lawyer. I think we have a better opportunity, a better option.
Can I just stop you for a second while we're having this very serious, deep conversation?
Yeah.
Paramore is just fucking devouring this peanut butter and jelly.
That's why I've been laughing. I look in the corner. I had to cover my smile. You were going in like, I love my grandma and I love old. I just see Paramore.
He's almost done. He is done.
Like the guy hasn't eaten in years. Go ahead. Sorry.
So anyway, so loopholes, right? So I found a couple loopholes, which I'm really concerned about, because the further that I'm getting into these loopholes and I've committed to them, I'm now going, okay, when I go back to Michigan for court, this is stuff that could probably get me in a lot of trouble. But I found the loopholes. So the one loophole is I contacted the Bengal Conservatory in Michigan. It's outside of
brilliant.
The cat.
So it's well, that's what it's spelled like, but it's just called the Bengal Conservatory. And what they do is they find property all throughout the state of Michigan that is a wildlife protected habitat that you want to protect for the rest of eternity. They come in, you give them up to a half acre, or I'm sorry, at least a half acre or more. And then they take complete conservatorship over that property. They make it their own. It is no longer mine or my grandmother's, and it's owned by the conservatory, and it can never be touched for the rest of eternity. So this area is like a wetland where they want to put the road. Where my grandma would have to put the road is like a little bit of a wetland full of leopard frogs, which are habitat to Michigan, whatever.
Sweet.
So I contacted them. So tomorrow they're coming. We got a phone call tomorrow, and we're going to go over all the details. But I had to reach out to the other neighbor that not the crazy guy, the other one that butts up to my grandmother's property, and he's willing to give a half acre as well. So we will give them a full acre, which will take away any options for the road to be built if this guy builds a fence, because now that is protected land that can never be touched. That's one. Number two, they want the fence removed so the road can go in, the fence that my grandmother has. So we are planting the Michigan monkey flower, which is an endangered species in the state of Michigan.
Relax,
It can't be touched. It's a fine, but it's natural to that habitat in Michigan. That's a natural occurring area of it. It's just very, very hard to find, but you can purchase it for $20 a bud. Not the kind of bud you're thinking, Brandon, but like,
yeah, we can still smoke it. They have a whole new felony.
But anyway, so we got that. And then the last thing is we are creating a 501c3 under my grandmother's name. And she will pretty much make the entire property, all the acres, a wildlife rescue. Brilliant. That we can actually have the state not only get the tax breaks, but we can take donations to build that 8-fence wall, which is such a problem, around the entire property. And then the last thing I did after I talked to Jason, the lady thinks I'm crazy, but I reached out to the Barn Owl Rescue Group in Michigan to have barn owl, because my grandma doesn't drive. So she's got this huge 2-car garage that's just empty. It has nothing in it. And I was like, well, why don't we just bring in barn owls? Like, my grandmother would love that. And these people they can store them there. They can use it as their own. They can pretty much take over and do whatever they want. And my grandma will think that's cool. You know, she can have people visiting and, you know, she can hear the owls all day and all night. I'm guessing if they're in a garage right next to the house.
If there were ever an episode of the BS podcast that I would want you to share, I want you to share this episode because of this story that Chuck is telling. What is happening to his grandmother in Michigan, his 95-year-old grandmother in Michigan, is criminal, absolutely criminal. News stations should pick this up. Celebrities should pay attention to this and stick up for her, because this guy that's doing these things to this 95-year-old woman is beyond unethical. Beyond unethical.
Well, I think it's important to point out that on February 28th, that judge is walking that property, and he's walking it with the neighbor that wants to cut her off her driveway. The only person that's going to be out there with that judge and him is my 95-year-old grandmother in her wheelchair.
And your grandmother should stand up out of that wheelchair like a miracle and scissor kick him right in the face.
I know.
But I'll go up there.
Because I'm at the point. I'm at the point. The courts and the judges, or the judge and the courts, they really are looking at me as I'm the plaintiff or I'm the defendant. This is her. She has a life lease on that property. I do not technically own that property until the day she passes away. So this is her, and this is her fight. But she wants it. And in court on Zoom from Pittsburgh, she looked at that judge and she said, "When are you going to let me say what I got to say?" And that judge said, "I'm good. We don't need to hear from you."
Oh, yeah. A jury trial would be good if she shows up.
She's not happy.
That's what I told Chuck. I mean, any attorney is going to tell you, and Mad Dog will tell you this when he comes on, is that you always want to avoid a jury. I think this case is the exception to the rule. You want a jury to see a 95-year-old woman in a wheelchair and some guy saying, "I'm going to build a fence that would hinder the ability for a rescue vehicle to come and get her if, God forbid, she were to have an emergency."
Yeah, and all the money she's had to spend to go live with her granddaughter, and all her money her grandson's had to spend, and time he's had to take away from his precious kids while they're growing up.
So she spent every dime. So she literally has spent every dime she has to get where she's at right now because of this.
Yeah. So like I said, Chuck's situation, if there's ever a podcast that you should share, it would be this episode of the BS, because this situation with his 95-year-old grandmother being bullied by this scumbag in Michigan, where he's going to build a fence that will not allow vehicles to come in and out. So if she's got to go to the hospital, she's SOL. But Chuck is brilliant. Make it a wildlife conservatory, plant daisy balls or whatever it is that you're planting.
I think that's a question for Manny. I might get arrested because of this.
And I want to be there, and I don't like to fly. I want to be there when your grandmother walks that property with this asshole, and she stands up and she ninja karate kicks him and says, "Oh, you son of a bitch, you don't mess with a lunch for
want to know is last time I talked to Chuck, he called me that day also, and he said the lawyer said we shouldn't be talking about this. How much at this point do you care if this hurts it or helps it, or is it really affecting it at all?
Well, and I mean, I'm not going to say who said it, but essentially, if anybody ever found out, I mean, so this person is suing everybody. So after the court date, I went back to my grandmother's house. I had to make some phone calls for work, and I have a knock at the door, and I'm like, "What the heck, dude? Like, what up? What's now? What's happening now?" So I answer the door. It's this elderly couple I've never met before, Jane and something, and they said, "We want to know what we can do to help you, because we don't have the financial means to fight him anymore." And I said, "What do you mean?" Well, so he sued them for $100,000 for driving their four-wheeler down the street to see my grandmother, which went over his property, and then they left. He videotaped it. He sued him for $100,000. Now, that, in my opinion, should be frivolous, and they should be throwing it out. They did not. So they had to hire an attorney, which they paid $15,500 for to this point, and the court will not settle it. So they're out that money, and they said, "Look, we need to stop this. How do we do it?" I said, "I'll figure out something." So after that, hour goes by, another knock on the door. This lady, Lori, knocks on my door, and she said, "Hey, I need to talk to you. I'm on disability." She's 60 years old, lives alone. And she said, "I'm being sued by him because I have a dune buggy that was too loud when I started it. I bought it for my grandson, and it was in my driveway, and I'm being sued for $10,000. I paid $2,000 to my attorney, which is all the money I have for food and all my bills. And I hope that this can get resolved in 30 days, but it doesn't look like it will. What can we do?" And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I mean,
Dude, you're like Aaron Brockovich.
No,
you are Aaron Brockovich of Northern Michigan.
But nobody cares, dude. Nobody up there cares. None of the judicial system, the law enforcement, the township, none of them care.
So this story is like, it's almost like a Netflix documentary, like something you'd see on the Crazy Bitch channel or something. I mean, it is so absurd that to think that in this country, a guy can do this. And it's just common sense where it's like, no, you can't. Now, because of the ordinances or the law or whatever it is, says that he can build a fence. That means that if something were to happen to Chuck's grandmother, hypothetically speaking, she can't get to the hospital. She gets sick. She falls, God forbid. And this is a Mad Dog question. Can you go after this guy for like involuntary manslaughter?
No, I'm wondering if you can like smash through the fence, because like
they're going to order me to build a new road. Well, they're going to order my grandmother to build a new road, tear down her fence to make sure there's access, and then he can build his fence, which we're not doing because my grandmother can't afford that. It's a wetland area. It's going to cost tens of thousands of dollars to get that where you can actually drive over it. Now, what you should know, just a little bit of background. So I did find out that he was in prison in Detroit. Once he got out of prison in Detroit, he had some type of lawsuit against a apartment complex. He won $10,000. Hence, here we are. He does not have his house finished. It has no insulation on the inside. He's got junk cars everywhere. It is an eyesore. But he's now waiting for that next hit. He's trying to get that next hit so he can finish his house and do his thing. So that's why everybody up there is being targeted.
Where's all this guy's money coming from? Has he had a successful lawsuit recently? Because I mean, you've told me how you spent a lot of money on this so far, and like you said, you can get out of hand quickly. Where is his money coming from?
He's defending him, or he's doing it himself. So he has a lawyer. He said he studied law in prison, and that's where he learned all this law, and that's why he's suing everybody, because he knows how to work the system.
Yeah.
Now I'll tell you, I watched him in the preliminary injunction. Not very impressive. He showed up in full camouflage. Like, who does that? But either way,
area they probably I see you, brother.
But my attorney sitting next to me laughing, going, "This guy's crazy." I don't think we walked away knowing who won. Like, there was not like a defined winner, except for my attorney walked away with $10,000. So at that point, I'm going, I could probably do this. You know what I mean? Like, why am I paying this dude $10,000?
I actually think this is the perfect opportunity for me to live out my fantasies as an attorney. Like me versus camouflage dick dude. Any day of the week and like this. There are very few things in life that I get passionate about or overly worked up about. Usually I can kind of like, all right, it is what it is, and let it go. I am furious. Like, this has kept me up at night. No, I'm being dead serious.
No, I'm with you. Trust me, I know.
I am being, I mean, it's not my fight to fight, but you're my friend. And just to know that this is an injustice, like my whole shtick, everybody knows it. And it's not a fake shtick. It's a real shtick. I hold people accountable. That's why I get a bad rap, is because I'll call you out. If there's somebody of power that I work for, I mean, that's why I get fired. I'm like, dude, you're going to do this to me, but you do this, you're not allowed to do that in this world. Right. But I just don't agree with those rules. And so this guy, his feet need to be held to the fire. And I told Chuck, and I hooked him up with a buddy of mine, Mike Holfeld, who just retired from a local television station here in Orlando, Channel 6, but he's been an investigative reporter for over 30 years. This guy is amazing. And he's from Michigan, so he knows the area. So, he's doing what he can as this story grows, but as a news guy, he needs more to make the story, to pitch it to people, in which that will unfold here sooner than later. I told Chuck, I said, look, this needs to somehow go viral. And the way things go viral organically are people that hear it, that listen. This is a Freebay episode. It's not a coincidence that we're talking about this on this episode, because I want this episode, this story has nothing to do with my brand or me. I want something to be done about this. I want a congressman, a state representative, a senator in Michigan to get a hold of this episode and go, this is an injustice. And I told Chuck this, and I don't know if he took my advice, is you send a letter to every single one of those guys in suits. You'll find a young guy that's new on the job, that is looking to make a name for himself, that'll be all over this. And that's what you need. You need to find a Kid Rock, an Eminem, a celebrity out of Michigan, somebody that takes the story and repost it and goes, this is an injustice. Somebody do something about it.
It's funny that you say that, because Chuck called me the other day and I was at a job, and he called me. He's like, dude, Jason is pissed. I'm like, oh God, what the fuck did we do? We did something bad. Like, I didn't fuck anything up, I don't think. Like, he's like, no, he's pissed about this situation. I'm like, in a good way, bad way? What do you mean? He's like, no, he's like really pissed. I'm like, oh, is it good or bad? He's like, he's pissed about the situation. I'm like, all right, I don't know what that means. He's like, I'm sure we'll talk about it on the podcast, but I understand what you mean now on it. So
well,
I thought we weren't supposed to be talking about this, or I'd been made fucking 15 videos about it.
Well, we can't talk about him. We can't talk about him, which is fine. But the point is, my biggest takeaway is no 95-year-old person, man, woman, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Should be dealing with this at that age. At this age, you're waiting to move on. And that's it. That's the one thing. The second thing is, when I realized how bad this was, and I went to Michigan and I looked at that judge and he was like, harassment, he's harassing her. I don't care about that. I care about the role. We're not going to deal with any of the harassment. We don't care that he's got cameras pointed at her. We don't care that he's playing 2 Live Crew. We don't care that it's a junkyard. We don't care. We care about the road. Then I'm like, why am I here? Like, this is going to be bad. So that's when I made the decision. I'm leaving. I'm grabbing Granny and I'm leaving. And if that house becomes abandoned and it never gets seen again by any human being, that's fine. I don't care about the house. I care about Grandma. Yeah. Well, then Jason, of course, is like, that's all he wants, man. That's all he wants. Well, and I get that, but I just think I've done everything. Grandma's actually putting together a 1-minute plea for help right now.
Yes.
She's going
that'll
through
be it for social media. Hell yeah. We'll share that shit.
It's being videotaped right now in Pittsburgh as we speak. She's got everything she needs to talk about, and it's 60 seconds. And it's
tell her, I know this is going to sound very self-serving, but in order to get the story, tell Grandma to refer to this show, like this episode, so people can hear the entire story. And I know
my grandson's talking about it on the podcast.
Yeah, you don't even have to mention my name. I don't give a damn. I just want people to hear everything that we've talked about and that we're about to talk about with Manny and Pew Pew, because I want them to know the whole story. I just don't want them to hear just a small clip of, it could be a bit, it could be something like this. This is the farthest thing from a bit, people. I'm telling you right now. We've been talking about this for months, it seems, and now it's coming to a head, but now we got to figure it out. And, and I understand where Chuck's coming from, the business aspect of it. He's like, I paid 50, 60 grand for the house. It's not worth the headache. Sometimes you got to let it go. I get it. Trust me. I've lost that amount of money in failed ideas and businesses before. I understand when you have to walk away. But I think in this situation, you can have your cake and eat it too. What you're doing, I think, is brilliant because you can make that money back in a tax write-off if you donate the property, or at least up to. So I like where your head's at. I blown away. Just like I was telling Brandon about his friend that we're going to have on next week that owns a vodka company out of Tennessee. It's called Response. What is it called?
Drink responsibly vodka.
Drink responsibly vodka. And I talked to this guy because I'm trying to get him as a sponsor on the podcast. And I like, where'd you come up with the name? Like, I always think that I'm the smartest guy in the room. God, was I far from it. This guy's brilliant marketing because at the end of every liquor commercial, it says drink responsibly. They're now telling people to drink his vodka. So like dumb, drink for being stupid, Bailey, number one, drink for being stupid, number two. I didn't think of this stuff that Chuck thought about with this conservatory stuff. Absolutely brilliant.
Well,
Yeah. I have to give credit. I have to give credit to the guy at Central Michigan University Wildlife Rescue that I called, and I said, "Hey, man, how much of a tax write-off is it if I donate this property to you?" And he said, "Why would you donate it? Why don't you just make it a conservatory yourself?" And I'm like, "What?" So that's why Granny's gonna get a barn owl rescue. That's cool.
Well, that's good that Granny's not here having to deal with all this. Also, like she's out of the picture, so you can do whatever the fuck you want
For a little while.
property.
For a little while, man. She's coming back in a few weeks, and once that happens, I can't control her.
Can we get Granny on the podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. She would do it.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be while she's in Pittsburgh because once she goes up there, it's
Do it right now.
next week, can we get her on next recording?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I can make that happen.
Okay. Yeah, that would be good. I think it would be good for this episode to get her on so people can follow the story.
Yeah.
Let's welcome to the show from the Aurora Law Firm, auroralawfirm.com. It is the one and only Pew Pew. Hello, Pew Pew.
Howdy, gentlemen.
Where's your boss? Where's the Mad Dog? Is he not joining?
No, Mad Dog is out of commission tonight. He's got a bit of Montezuma's revenge down in Mexico.
He's hammered.
Is he really in Mexico?
Yeah, he's in Mexico. There's like a conference for big time trial attorneys, and
Oh, he never told me that he wasn't joining. He just said, I said, "Hey, you want to come on?" Blah, 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 like I always do. And he's like, "Can Pew Pew come on?" I was like, "Of course Pew Pew come on." It's like, it's an unwritten rule now. You come on, Pew Pew comes on. He didn't tell me he was not coming on and just sending you.
well, I don't know what to tell you. Here I am.
Well,
Better or worse.
Did Pew Pew get my email?
I did get your email.
Did you
And
respond to my email?
I did not respond
Okay.
to the email because here I am for an opportunity to respond.
He's responding now.
Hello.
So just as a heads up, I put together because after talking to Jason had said, "Hey, you need to have everything. You need to have the whole story, documentation, emails, blah, blah, blah." So I spent quite a bit of time putting together, I think it was 28 pages or something like that. And I was like, all right, I texted Manny and I said, "Hey man, what's your email address?" And he said, "Send it to Pew Pew." So here we are again. I send it to Pew Pew. So there you go.
Well, I'll tell you what, it is a finely crafted email, and your effort is not lost on me.
Thank you. That's all I cared about. Thank you. I appreciate
Good
it.
answer.
Would you like to follow that up with any details on picking anything out of that email that Chuck sent to you?
Yeah, I like the idea of setting up the owl sanctuary. I just the other day was watching my cousin Vinny, and there's a scene he goes out, he's staying at the hunting cabin, and he can't sleep because of the owls out in the trees. I think you could set that up for your neighbor.
So, but my question is it illegal to do if I plant the endangered flowers near the fence that would need to come down, if I turn over, because after I did talk to the conservatory in Michigan that will turn that entire area into a protected wetland. Is that illegal to do that if you know that there's a lawsuit on the road? Is it illegal for me to be like, "Oh, and look what I did while we were waiting for trial. I made it a wetland that's conservatory."
So is it a crime? No. It might be a civil issue. There's this idea that you can't destroy a property, while it's being litigated and things like that. But you're certainly not going to end up in jail for saving the owls and the endangered species.
Yeah.
Right? So I can do this while we're waiting.
Yeah, I think you can.
All right. So Pew Pew as a Pew Pew as a representative of the Aurora Law Firm, Mad Dog's not with us, but you are. You're his voice. You're his eyes and you're his ears. You've heard the story of Chuck's grandmother being mistreated in the state of Michigan by this guy that wants to build a fence, and legally he can do so, which would hinder her from getting any emergency vehicles in or out. As an attorney, does Chuck have a fighting chance in hell?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly some wrongdoing here, and I think he's got a chance for sure.
Now, what about the other stuff I emailed you with the other complainants on that street that are being sued frivolously by him? Do you see a class action lawsuit against the township, the region, the state, the county? Do you see that?
So potentially class actions can be a bit difficult to set up because you have to get the group of people certified as a class. So that may be the route to go, but more than likely it might just be that, you join together, all 5, 6 of you are out.
What if all of them are disabled?
Well, I mean, you can still get together and sue together in that.
No, like literally, like they can't move.
Like all of them are disabled.
Well, I mean, can they pick up a phone?
Yeah. No, but I mean, you mean the class. What I'm saying is if they're a class of disabled persons that are being sued by someone that is not disabled, and they're all disabled.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, so that's not exactly what a class action lawsuit is. So a class action lawsuit is where you get, a lot of people who have all been harmed in the same kind of way. So, for instance, they
frivolous lawsuits.
Frivolous lawsuits. Maybe they all got food poisoning from the same place. Maybe they all suffered the same kind of injury in a car accident. That type.
But the Chuck, what you're trying to get at is that all these people are being sued, but they're not all being sued for the same reason, right? Just by the same person.
All by the same person, all different reasons.
Oh, so that's probably he's got the loophole.
So the different reasons is going to be an issue with the class action. And my other thought is just that it's not necessarily enough people to warrant the class action.
What about
have multiple plaintiffs and all that without becoming a class?
What about a protected class? Are the elderly a protected class, or the disabled they're a protected class?
So the disabled absolutely are. The elderly, it depends on the age. I think it's 55 and up. There are some special protections. And the disabled people may have a cause of action based on their disability for sure.
Is there a way off the top of your head that you could figure out a lawsuit against this guy because they are disabled, saying that he is targeting them for that reason?
So that's going to be the trick, right? Is proving that he's doing something to discriminate against these people because they are disabled, right? Does he hate disabled people, or does he just hate his neighbors, period? Right? That's going to be an important question here.
So
what's the youngest?
Hold on for a second, Brandon. Here's how you do it. Troll his social media. Does he post on social media? Do you know?
No,
he doesn't.
I don't know the internet.
Try to bait him and make a joke about a disabled person, and then he replies with like, well, they could. Am I supposed to feel sorry because they can't start a round of applause because he's missing one hand? And then boom, you got it, right? You got it.
Well, I thought, and tell me if I'm wrong, Pew Pew, wouldn't this be a lawsuit against the county for taking these frivolous suits against all these elderly people and letting them go forward, where these elderly people are then forced to obtain attorneys and spend all of their life savings to defend themselves when they're all on the same street with the same plaintiff?
So the lawsuit in that case wouldn't necessarily be against, the courts for facilitating the lawsuit. They would be against him directly for filing these frivolous lawsuits.
No, but he doesn't have anything.
Yeah, but I mean, the court, if you go down to the court, it doesn't matter if you have a basis for your case. If you file,
but I think what I sent you had what the problem is that the county is coming in and saying all these people are violating certain codes. They're saying you're all violating a different code, so that way he can sue. Well, he has a number of complaints for violations of code that he's done, and they will not enforce any of those. They only enforce it on the elderly, but on him, they don't enforce it, which isn't that something with the Fair Housing Act? Because wasn't that used back in the 60s for African-Americans, homosexuals? They would use these codes to get them out of subdivisions or out of communities, but they wouldn't enforce them on white people. Isn't that correct?
Yeah. I mean, very well may be something there. There are issues with, selectively applying the law, be it, things like city ordinances, be it, big criminal laws, right? If everyone's breaking the law and you're only picking and choosing particular people to prosecute, that is a problem. So there may well be something there on that basis.
Pew Pew, I got a question real quick. I want to make some videos. I think we all do about this topic. How do we keep from getting a harassing charge? Like, I know we can't mention the guy's name, but I wanted to do something like everyone send a letter to the courthouse or send a letter to a certain person. Is there a thing where we can get in trouble for telling people just to overload a certain agency with mail?
Yeah, so I think generally that's probably not the best idea.
I mean, we can't send in like
That's
letters saying
what
like,
my attorney's like, yeah, I don't think this is a good idea.
Listen to me, Chuck. I told you he'd say that, and every attorney is going to say that because they have to say that. Deep down inside, Pew Pew doesn't mean it.
I mean, we're just sending letters saying or giving our regards.
We've let the judicial system try to work. It's not working right now.
Broken.
It's broken. We need to push the envelope. We have every right to get the people on our side. We don't have to say, we're not going to harass the guy. We're not going to slander the guy. We're not going to do any of that stuff. But if we can find one or two state representatives or congressmen, whatever, or just a general, website, email, we are, and be nice and polite. We have every right to do that. Every right.
So I will say, I think you are well within your rights to send letters to your representatives, be it the state senators, United States senators, whatever it may be. I don't think you should be sending letters to the judge, to the courthouse, things of that nature.
Yeah.
If I rolled into court and I found out that, my client had gotten hundreds of letters sent to the judge, I don't know that I'd be thrilled about that revelation. But
now that's the other thing. What if I'm going to get rid of my attorney because after seeing what I'm working against here, I don't know why I'm paying $5,000.
Yeah, the guy's representing himself. The other dude.
He's gonna hire me
in full camouflage.
He's gonna hire me.
So that's my thing. Like, do you think like should I? You saw my bill, dude. Like I sent the bill to you. You even said that is a hefty freaking bill.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, I think generally speaking, you're always better off with representation, but you shouldn't be paying for something that you don't think is worth it. And there are a lot of mediocre attorneys out there.
Would you go with me for $10,000?
Yeah, roll up for $10,000.
He said, hell yeah.
I'm serious, dude. I'm serious. Like February 28th, you're in Michigan next to my grandmother in her wheelchair, and you're going back in May for a 2-day jury trial for $10,000. You're saying you'd do that?
So let me talk to Manny about that. We'll take that one offline. But
hold on.
I'll go for 5, Chuck. I got you, man. I'm a redneck. I can talk to this man. I wear more camera than he does.
Hold on for a second. Stop. He's rescinding that offer. All right. $10,000 no longer on the table. You take it pro bono and you get to recoup your cost when we countersue him, which is going to be 3+ times that. So if you want the box or do you want the envelope, take the box, right? Deal or no deal. All right. So we're going to countersue this guy for $100,000+, and you get your fee plus out of that.
Well, you drive a hard bargain, Howie Mandel. But I just listen. I want to make sure the owls get in the trees. That's
right.
That's happening. This is going to be one of the greatest. This is going to be one of the greatest wildlife refuges. Refugees. Is it refuges? It's going to be one of the greatest. One is conservatory.
Yeah.
And did you know in the entire state of Michigan, not one conservatory or refuge has handicap accessible trails throughout all the acreage?
Not anymore.
And it's going to happen because Granny said if it's going to happen, it's got to be handicap accessible.
She's going to be living in a damn zoo. There's going to be elephants and giraffes out there and lions.
So you know who I should book for the show next week is Jeff Lowe from Tiger King.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, I saw him on TikTok. They're doing it good again.
Granny wants to live with a bunch of tigers. I mean, like the white wolf is almost extinct in Michigan, and I was a little worried about that.
But he knows how to play this system.
Yeah,
and he knows. I mean, the dude up and took Tiger King Park from wherever that was in Middle America to Mexico.
The Tigers are in Mexico now?
Oh, they got a whole park in there.
Yeah, and he's got a little shop downtown, wherever that city
Playa
is.
del Carmen.
Playa del Carmen. He's got a little shop.
Street.
Play with the Tigers and stuff. And Jeff's a great. I mean, he's a good. I gotta sell. He's a good dude. I like
Got a
him.
hot wife too, Lauren.
Hot wife, cool kid. You know,
Do porn.
yeah, all the time.
What?
Oh,
With the
right.
Tigers.
No, not
She
with.
does. She
Well,
did, but not anymore.
Yeah. So anyway, we get him on and we tell him the story and say, hey, look, this is what we're going to do. What do we have to do? And open up a, you got Tiger King Park. We want Owl King Park.
I'm telling you, the barn owls would work, dude. They are so extinct in Michigan, and they're looking for refuges for them, dude. Her garage is empty. I mean, you could probably get 10 barn owls in there just making out and stuff.
You
I don't know how they do it.
In
Do
there.
they have live eggs or they have live babies? I don't know what happens, but they're hatching them.
Eggs. They're birds.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But question, the guy is self-taught with the law library.
Yeah, law library in prison.
La Berry.
Oh, hell yeah.
Real story. I seen a guy took a burnt piece of sausage and took it all the way to the Supreme Court. It took him like about 8 years. He was fighting a piece of burnt sausage.
Dude, I totally understand that. When we showed up at court and he walked in his camouflage, he had a dolly, right?
Yeah.
With boxes of documentation. And I'm like, what are we fighting here? Like, I don't even know what is all that paperwork? And he's up there just slapping it down. His wife's sitting next to him. And my attorney looks at me and he's like, what? I thought we were just here for an injunction. And this guy's over there like ready to go to trial. And then the judge looked at me and said, hey man, are you sure you want to do a jury trial? Because jury trials are going to take time because you have to choose a jury. And in civil cases, you only get to strike, I think, 2 or 3 witnesses or 2 or 3 juries or jurists, whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, sir. I want a jury
That's what he
trial.
wants.
And like I told you, Chuck, every attorney will tell their client, pew, back me on this. You don't want to go to a jury trial. You want to make sure you get this over and done because it's a crapshoot. You just don't know. In this case, you want to go to a jury trial.
That's right.
Because that guy's an uneducated bully scumbag. You have a 95-year-old sweet, elderly, handicapped grandmother. You win.
Yeah, but sad but true. He putting on time. He's stalling.
Chuck, you said I think you said before that the guy that's fucking with you, he bought the property from one of your family members, right?
Yeah, my great uncle.
Great uncle. Was there like any terms in there like he couldn't fuck with your grandma or sell the terms, or were they on good terms when he died?
No. He offered me the property for $28,000, and I told him I didn't have that kind of money. Now I'm looking at it like, God, I'm stupid.
I should have bought it.
Yeah, I paid that like 4 times over in fences and bushes and lawyers. And so, yeah, but no, there was nothing like that. But the problem is the statute of limitations for eminent domain. That's where what it comes down to. And the judge was very adamant about, he bought the property in 2016. He has 15 years because it was bought from a family member, which is a loophole in the Michigan law, which says if it's a non-family member, that's when eminent domain starts. You can't start with family. So now he's saying, well, if we can move the road, let's just move the road. But my grandmother, again, would have to build a road through the swamp and tear down her fence. And essentially, you'd probably tear down her garage as well to get that road.
The barn house.
So
that's not happy. That is going to be the barn house.
Your great uncle is grandma's brother, right?
Youngest brother. He's 86.
He's still alive?
Yeah. You
gotta
my
bring him to court.
My grandmother's the oldest and he's the youngest, and they're the only 2 that are still alive out of 7.
You got to bring him to court to be like, I would never sold this property to this man if I knew he would have done my sister like this. You know, that
could be either a job for me, or it's a job for Jason, or it's a job for Pew Pew. Whoever takes the case.
Yeah, get him up there though.
Well, it boils down to this, Pew Pew. Chuck's got a situation in Michigan. This 95-year-old grandmother against a dumb, tyrant bully that's trying to build a fence that would not allow her to escape, to get help. And he's representing himself. You work for the biggest and best law firm in the country, the Aurora Law Firm. Are you trying to tell me that you're afraid of this guy? You're not going to take the case because you think that this dumb individual is better than you, that you might lose? Like, I thought that you were different. I thought you were bigger than this, but I'm starting to hear you're scared that you don't want to take this case because you're afraid this guy can beat you. Am I understanding this correctly?
No, sir.
So you are going to take the case.
Now, listen, the only person I'm afraid of in this equation is the Mad Dog himself.
And when I talked to the Mad Dog about this before this all went down, I said, "Hey, man, it'd be so much fun. Like we can fly up together, and you can stay at my grandma's house with me, and we can go to court together." And he said, "Chuck, that's in northern Michigan." I said, "I know, it'd be so much fun." And he goes, "Do you know how much money that would cost?" And I was like, "I don't know, 10, 15,000." He goes, "That's about right." And then after that injunction, I got my bill, and I'm like, I could have the Mad Dog. That's great. I got lost that one. That was great. Like I'm already at 15,000. I'm in an injunction. Like I don't even went to court yet.
You have nothing done.
Yeah, and then my attorney's out there smoking cigarettes in like 10-degree weather. I'm freezing to death. I'm having hypothermia. And I'm like, dude, how much is this going to cost me? And he goes, if we go to court 2 days, he's like, dude, you're looking at 50 grand.
You
and
paid,
I'm like, oh, that's great. That's good.
you paid 15,000 to meet the judge, and now you're going to have a picnic on the 28th at your grandma's house.
Yeah. I'm not going to be there. Grandma's going to be there. I'm done. I'm done showing my face. They look at me and they just see some 45-year-old guy that, you know, could fight, and it's a fair fight. It's not a fair fight. And
dude, I'll go up there. I like a grandkid too.
Look, I know
up there. Hey, grandma.
Chuck, I know what it feels like. You know, when I had that whole situation with my mother, and it was in Lake County, Florida, which is not too far from my house now. But you know, it's good old boy country. She hired a good old boy attorney, this guy Buzzy, and he was friends with the judge. Everybody knows each other in Lake County. And I'm this young guy, quote unquote, celebrity from the big city of Orlando that's got all kinds of money, which none of those things are correct. But that's the way I'm depicted, right? That's the way that they're going to tee me up. So when I went to fight her, when she was claiming that my house was hers, even though I had paperwork that said she was a renter, my attorney's like, you better get this over and done with before you go to a jury trial. Because if you go to a jury trial, that's what they're going to say. They're going to see that you are mean to your elderly mother.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly why she's now the face. February 28th, judge is there. When I talked to your friend, the investigative reporter, and he said, Chuck, that meeting, you need to get video of your grandmother out there in a wheelchair in February in Michigan with a judge. And that's all you need. Get me that video and get me a statement from her, 1 minute of her telling this story. And that's what we need. That's the hook, dude. That's the hook.
Dude, send me up there. Send me up there.
I'm
down
not
to go to
sending you.
Michigan.
You're the last person.
What?
I
You don't want to go?
before I'd send you, and they've never seen a black person up there. They don't even know who they are. Like if Paramore shows up, they're gonna be like, "What is going on?"
It's serious.
It's serious.
Be close to the end, because that was my suggestion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can move up there and I can be his neighbor.
No,
I can be his neighbor.
Yeah, say I'm bringing my family. We're moving in. And we're gonna live with grandma. We're gonna live
All
with grandma.
27 of us.
Hello.
All right.
We're gonna run the conservatory.
Let me so this obviously to be continued, like with all capital letters, to be continued. But please pay attention to this story in this episode. Please share. Like I said, out of any episode that I ask you to share this episode. You know, I don't know who's listening right now. You might have a contact in Michigan that could help out. You might want to jump on this bandwagon and help this story go viral. You might have somebody that can help us make this story go viral. You know, I know out of all of us right now, Brandon's going to be the guy that makes the story go viral. There's no doubt about it. And I know he shares the passion that I share of fucking with people, especially when they're wrong.
I've been wanting to do it for the whole time, but Chuck told me no. He said the lawyer said it was a bad idea, but Pew Pew said it was a bad idea too, but fuck it, I'm going to do it.
No, we just can't talk about him. You just can't make this about him. It's got to be about grandma.
All right, Pew Pew, you ready to take over for the Mad Dog with some questions from two peers?
Yeah, I'll take over.
All right, here we go. So these are questions for the Mad Dog Manny Aurora and Pew Pew with the Aurora Law Firm, one of our fine sponsors, the auroralawfirm.com. First one. Hey, Jason, longtime listener from Atlanta. I met you at the second podcast in Pours. I was the nice zipper face lady, smiley face. Long story short, I'm a stage 4 cancer survivor, and February will be 5 years of treatment. I've been at my job for almost 24 years. I've dealt with harassment and discrimination really bad. for the last 2 years due to having to be off for treatment every Friday. Well, today they told me that my position has been eliminated. Absolutely ridiculous. I need to know a name from Mad Dog. I'm looking for the best attorney Atlanta has to offer for workplace discrimination. The sooner I can have a name, the better. You can use this on the show, and I'd also be willing to share my story and journey if you think it would be a topic of interest. I do. I appreciate your help with this, and sorry if this email is off because I, of course, had to have some drinks tonight. Thank you in advance, Becky. I guess the first question would be, pew pew, does the Aurora law firm take workplace discrimination cases?
So that is not the kind of case that we would take. But you have her email address?
I do.
So I'll tell you what, we will get a list together of people to reach out to, and we will send a list your way. Now, as to sort of what's going on, I think you very well might have a case here. If it is discrimination based on your condition, I think that absolutely might be something that you can work with there.
Yes, she's saying she's being discriminated against because of her having cancer, right? Not be able to do her job.
So she's having to go to treatment. You know, she's out of the office. They're saying nasty things about her.
Yeah, the way that I'm reading it is every Friday she's got to go to treatment. Probably after a while, they're starting to go, well, where's she at? Where's Becky at? You know, I mean, she's there's no way she's still getting treatment. She's just lazy.
On Friday.
Yeah, and then so they eliminate the position probably based off of that. But dum-dums, you can't do that when somebody's going through cancer treatment.
Yeah, I mean, if you're skipping work every Friday to, you know, go play hooky and do whatever, you can't be doing all that. But if you're doing it to go to a medical appointment, you can't be fired for going to your medical appointments like that.
Right. Sounds like a shitty place to work at in general. Like your coworkers going to be talking like that while you got cancer. God,
Yeah,
dang,
I bet you they
man,
already
like,
have,
what the hell?
I bet you they already have the jobs listing up, like to
Dude,
replace. Like,
they're-
yeah, we're
yeah.
eliminating your position, and it's already up there. Like
They're like,
stupid.
I bet there's someone up there saying, I wish you would die already, which
Oh my
sucks.
God,
you know?
Brandon.
But you know, there's someone up there. I mean, if they're talking about her this bad already, there's someone saying that.
That's
and I wouldn't want to
nuts.
work there anyway. Might as well sue them, get some money, find a new job.
Figure out what the emails say. There's probably some nasty emails out there.
Yeah, I bet.
Well, Becky, Pew Pew is going to get all that information to you.
Yeah, send me her email address. We'll get a list together for you, Becky.
Find a new job, Becky, and fuck those people. Get some money out
Good
of them.
luck. Good luck with recovery. God
Yeah.
bless.
That part.
But get some money in return because
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
Yeah, and do ozone therapy on top of your treatment.
There you
At
go.
alive.
And a
We'll
lot
hit
of
them all.
ozone
We'll hit them
therapy.
all the sponsors.
You know, Nick from Inspect All Pest Services flew down this
Yeah,
past
he
week.
told me. He bought you some dip too, didn't he?
23 cans.
He get them all right.
He got them all right. Yeah.
I told him, I was like, yeah, me and Chuck, we had a little miscommunication about what dip cans we're supposed to get.
Yeah.
I said, do not get these. He gets real mad. Do
But
not get the pouches.
But he flew from Atlanta to Orlando to go to a live ozone therapy spa. He's got a condition that we're helping him with, something, not a condition, but we're helping him with something, and he needs ozone therapy. So he flew down to do treatment at a live ozone therapy spa, stayed at my house, and I kind of felt bad because, you know, kind of a vacation, right? You know, you probably expect me to take you out, take you, you know, to dinner.
Yeah.
and take,
Yeah, every time I go to Jason's, I expect that.
No, I wouldn't expect that.
Right. Well, so he flew in on Friday, goes to the spa. I meet him at the spa, and he does his treatment. And then I say, I'm sorry to tell you this, but we got to go to the hospital tonight. And he goes, cool. I mean, way cool. Just like whatever you want to do. I said, my father-in-law just had prostate surgery today, and we got to go visit. So we spent Friday night at the hospital in Kissimmee, Florida. And then after that,
Was Nick with you?
yeah, he went to the hospital
Why didn't you give him the keys to your house?
because we weren't anywhere near my house.
Yeah.
Oh, you were driving him. He didn't have a car.
Yeah, well, he was at this. So if you were looking at a map, a live ozone therapy spa is in the middle. My house is far left, and the hospital is far right. So like the hospital's out by Disney.
And he had no car.
No, he had no car. He was with us, but he was cool with it. I mean, so anyway, so it's like, you know what? I'm going to take him out to dinner tonight. But it got so late, and we had to get back to the dogs. So we just ordered some food at the house and watched TV.
Oh my God.
So the next day we get up and, you know, we have to go back into the spa for some more treatment. And I was like, you know, And I knew the games were on. And he wanted to watch the games. And I said, we've got an event to do for the Live Ozone Therapy Spa. You don't have to help and you don't have to hang out with us. And there's like sports bars and it's like a marketplace type of thing. And you can go and hang out there if you want. It's from 5 to 9:30. And he's like, no. So he helped us put the tent up and he was like,
my God.
That's what he does, man. Even if you're not on the podcast, he incorporates you into working somehow when you get down there.
He's like a driver, man. He loves
so
to tell people to work.
we watched the game on my phone, and that was it.
I got the game setup's gonna be great, man. You're gonna love it. You know, we got a big ass TV. Here we go. Here's my 6-inch phone. Here, watch this.
And to be honest with you, I felt a little bad that I couldn't, take him out of the town or something like that. But not like I'm big out on the town. Anyway, so that was Nick's experience, but he did get his treatment, 3 days of treatment. So that's what he came down for anyway.
That's also how we lost Inspect All Pest Services as our sponsor. So
no, they're not going. There's one sponsor, Nanny and Inspect All, never going anywhere. I promise you that. Never going. There was something else that happened too, and I can't think of it.
Did you let him swim in your pool?
I told him he could, but it was a little chilly. I mean, so here's the thing. So I'll get back to these questions in a second, Pew Pew. So Rach, and she didn't know, and I would have done the same thing, but we're trying to do all these different things for the spa, like events. So she signs us up for these events at where I used to live before I left Orlando, moved to Atlanta. It's a place called Baldwin Park. And when I lived there, it was really cool. It was fairly new. It was built on the old Navy base. And it was, close to downtown, close to the interstate, great location, live, work, play type of area where when I was single, it was great. I had this condo on the second floor, wraparound balcony. Chicks would come over. We walk, down to the like little downtown area, get sushi. There was a lake with a fountain, really cool atmosphere. So she signs us up for these events thinking that it's the same kind of demographic, Holy shit, has that place changed? These events have been horrible. So we did one like
Paramore, you got to come with us.
Hey, shoot, man, I'd be looking sideways.
We did one. It was like a first Friday thing, and it was chilly out. So, and then they brought a DJ that's just blaring music. And I know I sound like an old man, but how am I supposed to talk to people? This guy's blaring music. So I emailed the people that run this place, who are not the best anyway, but. And I say, hey, look, this is ridiculous. I don't want to come back. Can you give me my money back? And she's like, no, you signed up for 2 months. It's non-refundable. And I'm like, well, can you move us? Because so they retooled it so the DJ didn't play the music too loud, and they moved us. They were nice enough to move us to a great location. And so we go and we set up, and it's just a bust. Like, these aren't our people. These are not the people that are coming to a Live Ozone Therapy Spa. So we break down early. We broke down, like, I wanted to break down early enough so I could get a good bit of the second game. And so we broke down like an hour and a half early. And we broke down fast, put it in the truck, and we're off back to the house. And I get an email that night from them saying, first, we hope that you enjoyed, and it was great having you here. But second, we noticed that you broke down early. Was there a reason? Before I could respond, and I didn't respond, but before I could have even responded, I get a follow-up email that says, we've taken you off the vendor list and we're refunding your money. There's no need for you to come back.
Oh, that's great.
I think great. It's fantastic. So we got out of it. It was good.
We got out of it.
Yeah, we got out of it. It was horrible. Like, there was so much potential there, but it's just not, like, they don't give you Wi-Fi. They don't give you power. The people there,
the demographic done changed completely.
It's because they put in those fucking apartments. I knew it was going to happen. I remember when they were building them or wanted to build them. I said, as soon as you build those apartments, this whole area is going to change.
You got to put up a sign that says homeowners only welcome.
No,
it's like thug life there now.
Yeah. But the Baldwin Park was basically like the $1 million homes and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it came in with the stick apartments. I built a bunch of them. And and then you had immigrants come in and bam.
The immigrants came in.
That's serious.
Maybe in 4 years, Baldwin Park will go back to where it used to be. Who knows? Anyway, next question for Pew Pew with the Aurora Law Firm. Standing in for the Mad Dog Manny Aurora. Can I see a buddy who didn't pay? Oh, okay, it's sue. Can I sue a buddy who didn't pay up on a sports bet in a state that gambling is illegal? I should have known better, but did it anyway. We bet on the Commanders Lions game like Chuck and Bailey, but instead of being clever like you guys, we bet $1,000 straight up, no points. I literally have the bet on my phone. Now he's saying he thought it was a joke, and I want my money from this bastard. Can I do anything? I'm assuming he videoed it.
No, so you can't sue if it's illegal to gamble in your state. It's like, for instance, say I was a drug dealer, right? And you ripped me off on a drug exchange, right? I can't go to the courts and sue you and say, oh, he stole my weed. Same deal here. Can't enforce any legal contract.
That's a good thing that now that I think about it, though, is you can have a legal contract, but include something illegal in it. So then that voids the whole contract. And you can't go to court, right?
Potentially.
What do you suggest he does, Pew Pew?
Pick better friends and don't gamble.
There you go. There you go.
Gamble on an official site where they pay you out.
But though, he could have let somebody else hold the money. You know what I'm saying? I always had that third party.
Yeah.
Had that third party. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's,
yeah. Well, a lot of people now, when they pay their bets, it's not in cash. They'll Venmo it to you.
Huh?
Yeah. That's what they, I mean,
Yeah.
No, I want my money.
Yeah, I agree.
They ain't got the paper no more.
Last question for the Mad Dog and Pew Pew. This is kind of serious. So I sold a gun to a guy at a gun show. We did a private deal, which I've done 1 million times before. Long story short, that gun was used in an armed robbery where a person was shot. Thank God they didn't die, but the cops are all over me like I had something to do with it. I'm also being told that I can get sued by the person who was shot. I have no idea what my rights are in this situation and what kind of ramifications will come of it. Need some help, guys. Pew Pew, Aurora Law Firm.
Yeah, well, I'd say first things first. It is probably worth reaching out to an attorney about this. Second, I think it is going to turn sort of on the nature of the private gun deal, right? If it was, a situation where like you went to a gun show and you were a vendor and you sold it to someone, that's very different than, you did a cash deal for a filed off serial number in a back alley, right?
Yeah.
So I think the nature of the transaction is going to play a part into how deeply they look into you. I'm not sure exactly what civil liability there may be. I'm not sure about that, but
Yeah, so if I sell a gun to a guy in a parking lot, like outside of a gun store, like say I went to the gun store and they do give me a price that I liked, and I go outside and I sell it to a guy in the parking lot, and then like I don't know, 3 months later he commits a robbery at like a Taco Bell, and he doesn't shoot anybody, but he punches someone with a rifle. Am I liable for that?
No, so generally speaking, you're not, as a seller, you're not going to be liable for the actions of the buyer. However, if in the transaction, for instance, you ask the person, well, why do you want to buy this gun? And they say, well, because I'm going to go kill my ex-wife. If you know that and then sell it to them, that's going to be a problem. But if you say, why do you want to buy the gun? Oh, I want to do, self-defense. Okay, sure. That sounds legit to me. You sell the gun and then a few months later, they're wrapped up in a robbery or whatever it is. Then that's not going to be a problem for you.
But so that's just like word, mouth, my word versus his, right? Like, no, he didn't tell me what he was going to use it for. And then he's like, no, I told him I was going to kill my wife with it.
Well, so, there might be other evidence, there might have been people with them. There might have been, security camera footage. And that's what I'm saying, if you did it in a controlled environment, like in a gun store or in a, a gun show type of environment, that's going to be different than, a midnight back alley type of affair. One looks better than the other.
Yeah.
I will tell you this happened to me because it was about 5 years ago. I had a friend that wanted to buy my Glock, and I was like, okay, I did all my research. I did it's on a website. Just Google ATF firearms transfer form. And I sold him the gun. I filled out the transfer form. He signed it. I signed it. And I filed it away. Didn't even send it in the ATF, which you're supposed to do, by the way. Didn't do that. I just kept it. And I was like, all right, I forgot about it. It was during the hurricane down in Tampa when the Lieutenant Dan, the guy with the one leg, I can't remember when that was. It was a couple years ago when that
was like 8 months ago.
Oh, was it
8 months
that
ago.
soon? Oh my God.
What are you talking about?
It had to
Years
be.
ago.
It had to be before I came on the show because it was.
No,
a
it was
issue
during the
before
show.
that.
We talked about it.
Yeah.
And it was
started
there
talking
was the
about it.
hurricane before that.
Okay.
Whenever that was.
Yeah,
Either way, he went down to work on tree stuff, and he had lost the gun. The gun had fallen out of his truck at some point, and he called me. He goes, "Dude, I lost that Glock," and I was freaking out because I'm like, "What if this thing gets used in the commission of a crime?" So I told his wife and him, I said, "Hey, call law enforcement, have them come do a report," and then they showed up, and I gave them the form, and I said, "First off, this needs to go in the report on top." And so they took it and they were like, "Yeah, you're good." And I was like, "Okay, thank God," because I was freaking out. So if you ever sell a gun, make sure you pull that document off of Google.
Hell no. I'm not going to any ATF website.
If you're
fucking crazy.
transferring a gun, you want to get it out of your name. You don't want
That's
ever
why
to keep
you.
that.
That's
None of
why,
the guns I don't have any guns. Never mind. I don't have any guns.
that's why if you own a firearm,
I don't have any.
you should have every serial number written down at your disposal. You know, so like in your notes in your phone, in a safe somewhere, so you know what the serial number is of your firearm. Now I'll tell you,
If I buy a gun, I'll do that.
in California, you can't buy a gun like transfer, buy a private sale unless you do it at a gun shop. It has to be there has to be almost like a justice of the peace transfer, like a guy that's got a certificate to do that. Unlike in Florida where you can go to a gun show and like go in the park. I remember when I first bought my first gun years ago. It's Shoot Straight. It's a gun range here.
One in Popka or one.
Yeah, the one in 1792. And I remember I was in there and I bought it and I come outside and I see these two dudes right outside just buying guns from each other. And I was like, "Can you do that?" He's like, "Yeah, no reason,
no background in that."
I was like, "Cool."
Yeah, well, if you go see Jose in Stockbridge, it's 30 minutes or less. That's the rule.
Guns kill people. I'll never have a gun.
Because once they fill out your paperwork, we got it, Brandon. Once you fill out the paperwork, you send it in, they get it back from ATF within 30 minutes. You're walking out with that gun. So
all right, Pew Pew. Is there anything that the Aurora Law Firm is working on right now that you'd like to bring up?
We had a bad week in federal court. Kind of the same deal as what happened up in Pittsburgh, but judge just wanted to hammer our clients.
Oh yeah, what happened with that Pittsburgh case? That was the one that Manny sent you up there to deal with. The guy was getting was it crypto or some kind of bonds or stocks he got?
No,
insider information.
No, so that was in DC. The thing in Pittsburgh was a drug operation, and then the thing I was down in Albany for was a tax evasion type of situation.
What, did you hear more about the DC thing though?
No, I haven't heard anything back yet about that.
No, thank you.
Oh damn.
I've got to
Is
tell
that
you.
good or bad?
dude, as soon as he said it, I looked at Jason. He's like, oh no. Your mannerisms are the greatest thing. I want to go to court with you so bad. Like if there's ever a moment, if I could wish for one thing, I would die. I would laugh so hard with you. Just be like, "Oh, this is a weird place up here in northern Michigan."
Chuckle pay 10 grand.
If we go up, February 28th is my birthday, so maybe the judge will grant a wish.
Well, I want to go with y'all so bad. Mine's the 5th. It's pretty close. I'm gonna go over there by myself. I'm going to Hale, Michigan. But Miss Lunsford.
I'll tell you, Judge. This case is going to go in our favor, and you know why it's going to go in our favor? Because I had a bad week the other week. This week it's my birthday.
Next week's gonna be good.
I don't lose on my birthday.
Oh, I want it so bad.
Pew Pew doesn't lose on his birthday. Do we understand each other?
Wow.
Yeah, if Pew Pew goes up there, I'm going. I'll
all 5 of us should go.
I gotta go.
I'm coming regardless. I want to go walk the property and do a video.
Not Brandon.
I'm gonna walk the property.
Whoa. What's your? Oh, I got a thumb cut.
Well, we hope that this week is better than last week. I'm sure it will be.
Yeah, so last week I drove like 1,000 miles last week. I was all over the place, but next week's gonna be a good one. That's what I
Pew
think.
pew. How's your love life going?
I'm sure it's
A
fun.
whole lot of nothing. I've been driving all over for Manning.
Does he give you a car to drive or like reimbursement on your gas?
Yeah, there is reimbursement if it's far enough.
It's far enough.
I gotta go out and drive 5,000
The lawman's been putting some miles on that road.
No doubt.
I just want to see him pull up at like a gas station that hadn't been changed since like '86 with a suit on. He pulls out, just says "Lawman" on the back.
No,
He'll
I mean
give
that
him a pack
kind
of
of thing
peanuts and a Diet Coke.
But every
I
time
mean, that kind of thing happens. Like I'll hop out in the middle of nowhere, and some old lady will be sitting on a rocking chair. She says, "Oh, you young man, you're dressed so nice."
You're the lawman, Mister.
But every time Pew Pew pulls away, like the visual, like the POV is never normal. It's just a close-up angle shot of the back of the car. And it's in that kind of amber yellow, like
The Mexico
overlay.
tent.
The sepia tone.
Yeah, when you're in Mexico, like when they change it, like, oh, we're in Mexico now.
And you just see the lawman, and it's kind of the dust, and then the music kicks on, and it's something like from CCR or the Eagles.
George Jones.
Or George Jones. All right.
Highway to hell, I see it.
So
It's on a long stretch in Nevada.
I like the long drives. It breaks it up. You get to go somewhere new. It's fun.
So I think moving forward, that Paramore's going to join the show. One, he needs to learn how to interject and talk, right? I mean, he
I
doesn't.
do talk.
figure-
I do
You gotta
talk.
punch in.
You make noises.
Okay.
You haven't got it yet. So it's going to take a minute.
Hello.
We just figured out that the end of the microphone is where you need to speak into. So
Wow.
we'll
We're
get
gonna
to
do
the next
that.
one.
We're gonna do that.
I
now.
do not like the new setup for him though. I like that. I'm gonna appreciate that the Sunday before the podcast and pokers tournament when we record.
What are you talking about? The new setup?
The mic, you got the mic set up a little better now. That looks like a more comfortable position. You had it down lower before. Not yours. I'm talking about Paramore's mic.
No, I
Yeah.
understand. I didn't realize I had to do that. Like you can do it on your own. Like, I mean, it's like phone, you talk in the bottom, microphone, you talk in the front.
Well, that's how I usually do it when I get there, but you usually have it in an awkward position when you get like
Yeah. It's all be down
talking
low.
to it. I
Yeah.
understand, he's not used to it. Just cut a
Hello.
little slack, man. His people ain't had slack in years.
Tell me about it, man.
All right. Well,
To the mic.
so, Chuck's not going to be with us every episode because he's got some prior family engagements. And then now, of course, this court case. So, Paramore is going to be with us more often, which is great. And we welcome that. We love Paramore and the audience loves Paramore.
That's right.
We've got What's Up with Chuck that we do, and we would have to replace that, with something. We got one question with Brandon. When Pew Pew and Mad Dog are on, we get your questions. By the way, if you have questions for their next visit, that'd be Mad Dog and Pew Pew. Please get those to me. You can, get my email off of thebaileyshow.com. So I figured, we're going to do like a word of the day thing with you. And I don't know quite how I'm going to do it, but it'll be something similar to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spell it out for you. All right. You need to repeat that word and then tell me what it means and then use it in a sentence. Okay.
Ooh.
You. Paramore. All right. Are you?
I was listening to the whole thing and I thought you were talking to somebody else.
No, just you. Yeah.
All
right.
It's all about you, Paramore.
So-
Your time to shine.
All right, here we go. I'm going to spell it and then you're going to tell me how to pronounce it. All right.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. No help from the audience, please. Thank you.
Please help.
Ready?
Yeah.
VIRTUOSO. And that word is?
At first, I thought it was going to be virtue, but then it turned into something else.
I thought that too.
Okay.
Today, please.
Okay. See, I'm trying to spell it now in my head. so I can see
VIRTUOSO.
it. Okay. I don't know what it is. Say it. Yeah.
Well, I need you to just try. That's part of the bit.
Oh, okay. Bertrand?
Yeah, sound it out.
Bertrand?
VIRTUOSO.
Churro.
Got it.
SO. The SO about the virtuosis.
What's that?
Virtuosis.
Virtuoso.
Virtuosis.
All right.
Virtuosis.
Is that your final answer?
Hello.
Yeah.
It's my only answer.
Okay. So virtuosis. And what do you think virtuosis means?
Some kind of video thing, you know.
And use it in a sentence then. See how we're breaking it down.
Okay. Like, and I'm completely wrong too. Yeah.
I watched that Mad Max Virtuose.
Yeah. I'm like,
use it in a sentence, please.
okay, here we go, man. It's gonna take a second, but all right.
Don't have a second.
Hello.
Ni hao.
I can basically see some virtuoso stuff going on right now.
Very good. Okay. Is virtue what did you say? Virtuosis, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is virtuosis, is it a noun? Is it an adjective? Is it a verb?
It should be an adjective.
Should
It's
be an
describing
adjective.
something.
It's describing.
Should be.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the word is virtuoso.
Okay, I was close.
Okay. Used broadly to refer to a person who does something very skillfully, and is often used specifically to refer to a very skillful musician. So you're wrong on many levels.
Hello. Yeah.
So did we give him like a rating now? Like how well to find the word?
Okay.
Well, this was kind of like I'm feeling it out for the
Trial,
bit. I haven't
trial.
figured it out. I wanted to see how this went, and it went kind of how I thought it'd go. So I know the next step in this, you know, I'll put some bells and whistles to this, but this will be fun, and it'll be educational for him.
No,
I think we should do.
What? You gonna
I
turn
think we should do a rating. You know, a rating on how well he interpreted the word, like from the
go ahead,
pronunciation and the understanding of it, and using it in a sentence. So we got three things. We got the pronunciation, the definition, and using it in a sentence.
Because he got so close, I'm giving him a 4.8.
Hello.
We're doing out of 10.
Out of 10.
Right?
Out of 10. 4.8.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
There you go.
Brandon?
I'm gonna give him a 4.
A 4. Okay.
I think he's got a lot better in him.
Yeah. Pew pew.
I'm gonna give him a 7 because 1, if it was virtuosus, it would have been an adjective. 2, I think it would be something virtual. And 3, I think the sentence made sense. So within the construction of the word he took, he nailed it.
You're a good lawyer. You're a good lawyer.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
I am not going to
I
jail.
like that. That's fun.
I mean, pew.
All right. And I'll give you a 1.
Poo poo.
I'll give you a 1.
But no, see, like once again, how many times in the freaking hood is somebody saying that?
Well,
you're a virtuoso at selling crack.
Very good.
Look
Wow.
at that.
Those bars that you're spitting makes you a virtuoso.
I don't spit bars. I don't rap. I don't do that.
Yeah, but your homies do.
Yeah. You gotta let them know.
You know, if they get hit by a car, I don't feel nothing. So
You tell them that was not virtuoso.
Why
We
don't you
get hit by a car.
Yeah, why don't you start a new trend in the streets? And when you find your homie spitting bars in his lab, and go up to him, and instead of just saying, "Word, that's dope, my dog," why don't you say, "Wow, you're a virtuoso"?
Yeah, and he look at me like, "Who you working for now?"
Would you call me Paul?
It's like TIP. He uses a bunch of big words, man. They'll think you're the next TI.
No, because T.I. and the other cat, we used to send them to go get peanuts and freaking gizzards in the cup. Yeah, but now look at them now. They playing on X10 and everything.
Oh, you got ties to TI?
What did he just say?
Oh, yeah.
I heard what he said. He's got ties to TI.
Man,
you know TI?
In Mechanicville. Yes, in Mechanicville. They used to live in Mechanicville. Yeah.
What?
Is that where 21 Savage was in Panthersville? That's near Mechanicsville, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know my Atlanta.
Yeah. Freaking the kids that used to wear the clothes backwards.
Crisscross.
Salt and pepper. Oh my God. They used to have Acme corn.
Salt and pepper.
What is it?
Not pepper.
Salt and pepper.
Yeah.
No, we got to get T.I. on now. We got to hear about them T.I. stories on the stream on Tuesday.
T.I. was young and he was let's see, like he there was a little, but they were crazy about the music though. They kept the music going on.
It's funny, Brandon, that you used to ask him if he had ties to T.I., and T.I. kind of sounds like Ty.
I did. I purposely did that. I'm a rapper deep at heart.
That's kind of
Oh,
clever.
Jesus. Here we go.
All right. Look, like I said earlier, if there's ever an episode to share with Chuck's grandmother's story, a big, fat, juicy, to be continued on that, please get the word out on that. Feel free to clip up the show or any part of the show if you want, or whatever snap that I put together that has anything to do with it. But we need help with this one. And the main thing is to go viral. This is not bit. This is not gimmick. I promise you. I am furious about this. I'm too drained out right now to get mad again. But I cannot let this guy beat Chuck. Can't let it happen. And the thing that I guess if like I didn't have an audience, I would feel probably a little bit different about it. But I've always had the mindset that no matter what I'm doing, if I'm right, because you're never wrong if you're right. And Chuck's right on this 100%, 110%. He's right on this. If you have an audience, you have an army. If you have an army that wants to be vocal and you have the internet, dude, you can accomplish a lot. You just have to have a common ground and an understanding in what you're fighting for. If there's ever something to fight for, it would be this. Like elderly lady getting screwed over by dickhead camo punk ass. Man, dude, like, let's do this. Seriously. So give us a like, share, follow on all social media, please. At Listen to the BS. You can get all that information on thebaileyshow.com. Continue, if not, to subscribe to our YouTube channel at The Bailey Show. And this is a free Bay episode. So, for those that listen to the free episodes, please subscribe. I mean, like, for real, dude, you have thousands of hours of content. Great stuff, great guest. We'll continue to do that. You'll get all of the episodes. You'll be able to unlock the episodes. I've always thought that the only way you can listen to the sub episodes is on Spotify. I was told in the BS public chat and the private Facebook group that somehow people are listening to them on the Apple and also I think Google. I don't know how you're doing that, but more power to you. But the only way to subscribe is by going to thebaileyshow.com and hitting that subscribe button, and make sure you check that box. Subscribing to Spotify does not make you a subscriber of the BS podcast. So please do that. If there's anything that you can do for me right now, please do that. If you're interested in sponsoring the podcast, all the episodes, and or the radio show Saturday mornings that airs on WJRR in Orlando and Planet Radio in Jacksonville, if I can help your brand out in any way, if you just want to have a conversation about it, please get a hold of me again, thebaileyshow.com. All right, Brandon, you got anything before we get out?
Yeah, last May, Grandma was gonna die, but now she's sad and she wants to cry. So we gotta sue and screw that fucking guy.
Nicely done.
On the spot, baby. I'm Jay-Z, bitches.
Nicely done. Paramore, do you have rhymes you'd like to spit?
No, I ain't got no rhymes, but I got a reason. This reason is this right here. Please understand, when you go up, the law is blind. So, you know what I'm saying, who got the most evidence, that's the way it's leaning. So right now, you know what I'm saying, don't take him for no chump. Don't take him for no washout. He probably got himself together.
Damn straight.
That's it.
Damn straight.
That's it.
Love it. Speaking the truth.
I don't know how I feel right now. Pew Pew, do you have anything? Do we have any? Do you have anything before we get out of here? I'm blown away right now. I just don't. I'm sorry. Do you have more? Paramore?
For Granny?
Man, I had an awesome peanut butter sandwich with freaking chips of peanuts in it with grape jelly,
crunchy,
and wheat bread. Oh my God, it was so good.
Yeah,
and it was heavy too. She put the weight on it. Yeah,
sugar-free jelly.
Oh, okay.
And chunky peanut butter. It's the only way I roll. And whole wheat bread. I'm trying to go gluten, but I don't know if you know anything about gluten bread. One, you find it in the freezer section, which is weird. And two, those damn things are $10 a loaf.
Anything good,
that's
you gotta pay.
Crazy. I couldn't do it. I'm trying to go gluten-free, but I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. DDP's on me about going gluten-free, and I'm trying. It's just too expensive.
My dad's been like that for like 5 years now. He loves it. No bread.
Yeah, well, that's the other option, is just no bread.
Yeah.
Like, my grandmother lived to 90 and she ate tons of bread.
Hello.
So I don't know. I'm caught in a conundrum. Conversation for a later date. Pew Pew, do you have anything before we get out?
Justice for Granny, eat more gluten, and Brandon, you're quite the virtuoso.
Wow.
Wow.
There we go. All right. Let's see if you can beat that, Chuck.
Mine's going to be easy. So at the time of this release, we will have Grandma's 1 minute video together. It will come out either Wednesday, Thursday, somewhere around there. Please share it. It's going to be the best we can do, but it'll be a minute or less, and we'll get that thing out.
Are you giving it to me to post on the BS social media?
Yeah, you guys will all get it before anybody
Send it to
else.
me too.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the best I can with editing, and then I'll send it to you guys.
Do not edit at all. Just send it to me. I'll do my own editing. Do not edit at all. I'll do it.
But it's not funny. It's not going to be funny.
No, I'm gonna make it do my own editing.
I'll send you a copy. You can do what you want with and see what.
Thank you.
There you go. Brandon's gonna be good. Like, dude, I got Granny here blowing ants up in the backyard.
Yeah.
That's not fair. That's right, Granny. It'll be about something totally different.
Exactly.
Totally different. All right. We'll finish things up. There's something I wanted to mention, and I keep forgetting. I'm going to be pissed that if I don't mention it, and I don't know what it is.
Drink responsibly?
Drink responsibly. Not yet. No, can't think of it right now. Anyway, all right, cool. Look, have yourself a great, safe rest of your day. Thanks for listening. Thanks for support. Please subscribe. We got more shows this week. Hope you listen. We'll talk to you soon. Hey, bye.
Thanks for listening. Till next time, check out thebaileyshow.com. Make sure you like, share, follow on all socials. I leave you with these parting words.
Never got a pink slip either. You know what I would get? A guy would come around to my desk and say, "Get the fuck out of here!"
What do we want to talk about?
Subscribe at thebaileyshow.com.
Yeah, baby.